Welcome back to Unfiltered TV, where we uncover shocking facts and share untold history. Don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss an upload. Scams. They've been around for centuries, tricking ordinary people, shaking entire economies, and sometimes even fooling world leaders. From fake investments to billion-dollar corporate frauds, these scams remind us just how far some people will go for money and power. What's even crazier? Many of these schemes ran for years before anyone caught on, costing victims billions and changing history forever. In today's video, we're diving into the 10 biggest scams in the world, stories of con artists, fraudsters, and corporations that pulled off some of the most shocking deceptions ever recorded. Some of these names you'll know, others might surprise you, but one thing is certain, they'll leave you questioning just how easily trust can be exploited. So sit tight, because by the end of this video, you'll see how these scams were pulled off, who got caught, and the jaw-dropping amounts of money involved. Let's get into it. Some of these names you'll recognize, others will shock you, but one thing's for sure, they'll make you think twice before trusting too easily. So, let's get into it. Number 1. Bernie Madoff, Ponzi Scheme USA, 2008. Bernie Madoff is known for pulling off the biggest Ponzi scheme in history, defrauding investors of an astonishing $65 billion. He operated for decades by promising steady investment returns, but his secret was that he paid old investors with money from new ones instead of actual profits. If you're thinking that's some next-level financial wizardry, hold on, because we've got 9 more stories to go. Number 2. Enron Scandal. This scandal hit the USA in 2001 when it was discovered that the heads of Enron, one of America's biggest corporations, had been hiding billions of dollars in debt behind a series of complex accounting loopholes. To make matters worse, their auditing firm, Arthur Andersen, had been helping them out by turning a blind eye to these practices. In the end, shareholders lost more than $74 billion, which led to the total collapse of Enron and the downfall of the auditing giant Arthur Andersen. It's safe to say this was one of the costliest financial scandals of all time. Number 3. Charles Ponzi. But wait, didn't we just talk about Bernie Madoff running a Ponzi scheme? Well, actually, he was just inspired by the original Ponzi scheme run by this Italian immigrant in the 1920s. Back then, postal revenue stamps were being sold for much more in foreign countries than in the US, so Ponzi bought them in America and sold them abroad for a profit. This made him a lot of money, and he decided to start a new business where he promised investors a guaranteed 50% return in 45 days by investing in postal coupons. Of course, it was all a scam, and Ponzi ended up swindling investors out of $20 million, or more than $200 million in today's money. The term Ponzi scheme has stuck around ever since. Number 4. Alan Stanford. In 2009, Alan Stanford's empire came crashing down when it was revealed that his Stanford Financial Group was running a fake investment scheme. He was accused of selling fraudulent certificates of deposit to investors through his offshore bank in Antigua, promising them high interest rates without any real way of paying them back. He even went as far as bribing and threatening people to keep his scheme going. Eventually, his plan unraveled and he was arrested. The total amount scammed from investors, $7 billion. Talk about a colossal collapse. Number 5. The Great Diamond Hoax. Now, let's travel back in time to the year 1872 in the little town of Leadville, Colorado. Two prospectors named Philip Arnold and John Slack stumbled upon something that changed everything, or so they claimed. They had found a rich diamond mine that was full of massive industrial-grade diamonds. They convinced some bankers to invest in their mine, tricking them into believing they had struck gold. As the news spread, more and more people became convinced that Leadville was the new El Dorado. Investors flocked to buy shares in the mine, and many lost a fortune as the price of the stocks skyrocketed. In reality, Arnold and Slack had planted the diamonds themselves in a public field to dupe the investors. They even went as far as enlisting the help of a chemist who confirmed the stones were indeed diamonds. And thus, the Great Diamond Hoax began. The exact amount of money lost in the scheme isn't known, but estimates suggest that it could be equivalent to hundreds of millions in today's money. Number 6. Harshad Mehta. In the early 1990s, India's stock market was booming, but nobody knew it was all thanks to a man named Harshad Mehta. He was a broker who had managed to manipulate stock prices by using fake bank receipts. Basically, he was inflating the value of stocks and making huge profits by buying and selling them within a short period. His scam caused major havoc in the Indian markets and eventually led to a crash that hurt millions of small investors who had put their money into the stock market. The amount defrauded from the Indian banking system, $1.3 billion. And after several investigations, Harsh was finally charged and convicted for his crimes. Number 7. Adelphia Communications Fraud. Imagine stealing over $2.3 billion from your own company. Well, that's exactly what happened in 2002 when it was revealed that Adelphia's founder, John Rigas, and his family had been stealing from the company for years. They were using company funds to pay for extravagant vacations, private jets, luxury cars, golf courses, country clubs, and even race horses. Eventually, the fraud was uncovered and Adelphia filed for bankruptcy. But it wasn't just the company that suffered. Thousands of employees lost their jobs and investors lost billions of dollars. The Adelphia scandal is a prime example of how greed and corruption can destroy not only a company, but also the lives of many innocent people. Number 8. Sergey Mavrodi. In the 1990s, Russia was a hotbed for pyramid schemes, and one man named Sergey Mavrodi was at the top of the game. He promised investors up to 1,000% returns on their money in just a few months, which may sound too good to be true, and it was. Mavrodi's company, MMM, took billions of rubles from investors and collapsed shortly after leaving 10 to 15 million people out of pocket and with losses estimated at $10 billion. Despite the staggering amount of money lost, Russian authorities were unable to bring Mavrodi to justice for his crimes. MMM might have been one of the largest financial scams in history. Number 9. Volkswagen Emissions Scandal. You might remember the massive Volkswagen emissions scandal that rocked the world in 2015. It all started when the Environmental Protection Agency discovered that Volkswagen had been installing defeat devices in its cars to cheat on emissions tests. Basically, the software would detect when the car was being tested and turn on the pollution controls. But once on the road, it would deactivate, releasing harmful pollutants into the air. As it turns out, 11 million cars worldwide were affected by this cheating software, including 482,000 in the U.S. alone. Once the news broke out, Volkswagen tried to fix the issue, but it was too late. The damage had already been done. In the end, the company had to pay over $30 billion in fines and settlements, which included $20.5 billion to the U.S. government and 14.7 billion euros to German authorities. But the scandal didn't stop there. Several Volkswagen executives were charged with fraud and conspiracy, and the company's reputation was tarnished forever. Number 10. Elizabeth Holmes. The year is 2015, and the place is Silicon Valley, where dreams are made and fortunes are lost. Enter Elizabeth Holmes, the founder of Theranos, a company that claims to have developed a revolutionary new technology that can perform a full range of lab tests on a single drop of blood. Investors were sold on the idea and poured billions into the company, valuing it at $9 billion at its peak. But as it turned out, Holmes had been lying through her teeth the whole time. Her technology never worked, and the company was a sham. The scary part is that investors, patients, and even doctors were duped for years before the truth finally came out. Holmes was later convicted of fraud and conspiracy, but the damage had already been done. So, why do you think she faked her famous deep voice? Do you know other scams that could have made it on this list? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and share it with a friend. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And of course, don't forget to subscribe for more.